Papa Roach are a pretty divisive band. You kind of either like them or really, really hate them. They've been around since the mid to late 90s during the whole nu metal thing, and they kind of came up during that period with a blend of kind of post-grunge and nu metal that was coming around during that time. They mixed spoken word, rap lyrics into their songs, and again, they were, even at that time, very divisive. You kind of either liked them and thought that they were doing something interesting and new, or you hated them and thought what they were doing was just outright annoying. Personally, I really haven't felt that bad about Papa Roach. I mean, I actually really like the album Getting Away with Murder, but outside of that, I've never really cared for them all that much as far as really getting into them. I've listened to pretty much every one of their albums at some point, but there's never been anything that's really drawn me to them or kept me listening or anything like that, and it doesn't really change for this album, Crooked Teeth. This album kind of just continues everything that they've done in the past. It's a little bit less heavy or in a lot of ways than their last album. Definitely brings back a lot more of just the straight up rock. You get that from the opening track called Break the Fall, which is this nice intro build up. It does have, again, the cheesy spoken word rap parts in it that kind of just drain everything away from it that it had going for it. The chorus itself is catchy enough. I kind of like it, but it's just those parts just really don't come off that well. I mean, and that's kind of the theme for this album. It's really your enjoyment of Crooked Teeth is really gonna depend on how well you tolerate those parts of those songs, because there's a lot of it here, and it's just cheesy to me. A lot of it it's not necessary, especially in with the lyrical content of these songs. It kind of emphasizes how poorly written some of these lyrics really are. The title track, Crooked Teeth, at least has one foot in that kind of post-grunge alternative metal area, and it's a song that I actually kind of like. It does do pretty well. Overall, it's probably one of the better tracks on this album, and it probably one of the stronger tracks that they've actually written in general. Born for Greatness is not a good song off of this album. It's one that kind of emphasizes everything that I don't like about it. Sonically, it's just generic rock. It's not great. Lyrically, it's absolutely terrible, and the vocal delivery on this is really bad. And it's weird to hear tracks like that, because you know what they were going for. It's definitely a track that you kind of get a sense feels like it was written for radio play. It's safe, it's friendly, but it just doesn't have any bite or edge to it. It doesn't stand out in any way. It sounds like we've heard it before, and it just kind of comes off as really being tacky in general. Now, that's not to say that this album is bad or that I hate this album. I really don't. It's okay. It doesn't do anything to stand out, but there are some pretty good songs on here. For instance, Periscope featuring Skylar Grey is actually a pretty decent song. It's pretty catchy. And again, I would say it's probably one of the better ones that they've actually written. It has a more serious tone to it than songs that they've done without going over the top or, again, feeling tacky or insincere in any way. And I think that the honesty of that track actually helps boost it above anything else on this album, and really anything else that they've done in general. The song Help is another one that sonically is a little bit generic. Again, it sounds like things that we've heard before in the past, but it's done very well, unlike some of the other tracks that they have on here. And it's actually a song that I really enjoy. It's probably one of the catchier songs on here, with this heavy kind of bass line to it and a very, very kind of catchy chorus that I regularly enjoy. It's one they released a music video for, and it keeps my attention. So it's definitely a track to look out for on here, and one that I would say probably would get stuck in your head. Overall, this album isn't bad in any way, but again, your enjoyment of this album is really going to depend on how you feel about Papa Roach and how you feel about his vocal delivery in general, and like I said, the rap, spoken word, whatever you want to call it, choruses and verses that they have. If you like that kind of thing, you're going to like it back on this record. They kind of toned it down a little bit, especially for the last album, but it's definitely in full force here, so take that as you will. If it's something you like or at least can tolerate, you'll probably get a decent amount of enjoyment of this album. If it's something you hate or can't stand, you're not going to like this album at all. If you like Papa Roach, it's worth a listen. It sounds like Papa Roach. If you don't, there's nothing here that's going to grab your attention or make you change your mind, anything like that. There's some good songs on here, some catchy songs, some that I like. But nothing that kind of elevates this album in any way. There's a lot of songs on here that unfortunately you kind of know what they were going for, but just are drawing from too many places and too many places that we've heard before, and very much lacking in the execution. I mean, it's something if you're interested in alternative rock, radio rock, anything, whatever you want to call it, it's at least worth a listen. Thank you for watching the review of Papa Roach's Crooked Teeth. Leave your comments down below. What do you think of this band and of this album if you've heard this, or even if you've just heard some of the songs that they've released so far? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more.